Hello and welcome back to another episode. Today we have the April 2020 issue of Vogue magazine. And on the cover, Ugbad Abdi again with the same deadpan, right? She has no range at all as a model. And this, for some reason, this denim is just not working with this embroidery, or you might call it a brocade or whatever. But I see the spirit here. They're going with embroidery, and then denim, and denim. But these two are working, but this is not working. This is a real heavy clash, right? The hijab and this, right? This is working beautifully, the gold, but this denim, I don't know how they thought that denim. So the fashion editor who dressed these models, right, that was a huge mistake. Okay, let's move on. We saw this. We did a one photo deep dive, or actually two photo deep dive on exposure bracketing, and HDR. But in this magazine here, there's heavy vertical banding in this print. So it went to print, and you can tell if you look very closely, there's all kinds of vertical banding. So it's a terrible print. And the reason I mention this again is because Glenda Bailey over at Harper's, I think she's done a marvelous job at trying to increase the print quality, right, to really make that magazine the flagship of the entire fashion industry. And Anna Wintour over at Vogue, she's listened to the accountants in the MBAs, and she's reduced the print quality in order to make Condé Nast and Vogue more profitable. And it's been a mistake, right, because what takes primacy in these fashion magazines, one of the chief components is print quality. We have to have the print quality. And again, Glenda Bailey is aware of that. She's been on board with the high print quality, whereas Anna Wintour has reduced print quality over at Vogue. Okay, continuing, we have Kaya doing a marvelous job here. It's really great modeling. I mean, she's all over it. Kaya's just all over it. Gucci continues to melt down. This is just horrible. Again, we talked about sequins worn in the daytime. Sequins are to be worn like maybe post 5 p.m., 6 p.m., right? After that, because, right, you want to get into a more evening look, right? It's not appropriate for day wear. So there's just all kinds of just nonsense going on in this image. And I've said it before, I don't see how the creative director at Gucci, right, I don't know how he or she keeps his or her job, because this is just garbage. And it's been garbage for 1 year now, so I just don't understand the stranglehold that person has on the company. Prada, now this one on the right is actually quite beautiful. This over here is garbage. And Prada was among the very elite advertisers. And just 3 months ago, they kind of abdicated when they went with this model and a new photo team, right? A new team. I think it's a whole new team. They've really fallen from the top tier. So I don't know what happened at Prada, but they definitely took a wrong turn at Albuquerque. Okay, Ralph Lauren, continuing on with his 007 legacy. Right, this is a variation on a theme, kind of some of these similar elements, but a different model. And again, I have the utmost respect for Ralph Lauren. I think he's done a magnificent job. He is that company is in the very upper echelon of advertisers. But Ralph Lauren is just not believable as 007. As much as I respect and admire him, he's not 007. Okay, we've seen this before. This is a joke. With all these piercings and all these necklaces, all these rings, and the absurd amount of bracelets or bangles. It's ridiculous. Okay, this is cool, the wide angle, right? This is a wide angle lens. The photographer has gotten, somewhat close to the soles of her shoes, and you're getting this really cool effect here. And that's right, if you have a zoom, right? Again, in fashion, it's a 24 through 70. 24 through 70 is the go-to lens, full frame. Like if it's either Canon L or the Nikon 24 through 70. That's kind of the industry standard, and what the photographer's done, gone to the wide, down toward the 24 to 28 millimeter end of the lens, and got in kind of close to get this effect. And it's really quite nice. Okay, here we're seeing another trend, and this is the reappearance of a sock, and it's not working. I've seen this in Michael Kors, and now it's in Salvatore Ferragamo, and this is really not working. These models would look much better in these shoes with just a bare leg and a bare foot. Okay, these socks really just aren't making it. Okay, Dior J'adore, right? The color temperature is just way too much gold, right? It's been pulled entirely too far in the gold. And here's the thing, okay, thematically, let's say thematically, you have the art director, we have a gold perfume, we put her in this metallic gold, again with the sequins, right? Gold dress, and then we want to complete the trifecta with gold color temperature. We pull the color temperature into the gold, and it's not working. Now there's too much gold. Okay, it's just too much. I can dig this gold bottle, the gold dress, even this gold fabric in the background, right? But it's just too much. It takes on an entirely monochromatic look, and I think her skin would have looked much better with 5500 Kelvin. Carolina Herrera. Now, Carolina Herrera is a lot like Isabel Marant in the context of once used to be quite present in the magazines, took an extended absence, and is now back, just like Isabel Marant, back after a long absence. And the photography is just incredibly elegant, just beautifully done. Right now, look here, there are no fads at all. There's nothing crazy going on in this frame. Nothing. It's timeless, beautiful photography, and it's just wonderful. This I found kind of interesting. The model is very pale. Okay, so the foundation they've used on her face is wrong, and it's done for artistic purposes. Okay, it appears, right, you can tell by her hand. Look at the color of her hand, the warmth, right, and the color of the foundation is much lighter than her natural skin color. So they went with almost like this theater style of makeup, and then not only that, they went with heavy rouge or blush on the cheeks. And I haven't seen this since the 80s, right? Rouge or blush disappeared somewhere in the 80s, and it's been gone ever since. So we're talking about maybe a 35-year absence of blush or rouge, and it's making a comeback now. Chloe's attempting, Chloe's attempting to bring back blush or rouge. Okay, Versace. This is the pattern that J-Lo wore at the 2000 Grammys. This is the third incarnation now of this pattern. We saw it in the gown that J-Lo wore. Then it was turned into a one-piece jumper, and now it's turned into a mini skirt. So this same pattern now, it's in its third incarnation. And it's nice. I mean, it's cool. Here, this is a complete failure. Now this is Ugbad Abdi again. We can see here deadpan and more deadpan, and we saw it in previous issues. And it's just, I'm just absolutely at a loss now as to how she gets work. I really am. But anyways, getting back to Rianne van Rompuy, Dutch model, and the thing that's wrong with this, she's wearing her hair. This hairstyle really caught on in 2012 with a singer named Cher Lloyd. If you're not familiar with her, you can go to YouTube or whatever and just search Cher Lloyd, CherLloyd, and she had a song called Want You Back, but the U is not Y-O-U, it's just the letter U, Want You Back. And you'll see she's rocking this haircut. And right around the same time, Demi Lovato adopted this haircut, and then other artists starting adopting it. And that style lasted for maybe 4 years, from 2012 probably to 2016. And it fizzled in 2016, and we really haven't seen much of it since then. But the problem is, Rianne van Rompuy, she's kind of wearing this style, but she's not wearing it correctly. right? It's supposed to be very close to the scalp, not with a razor, but take an electric clipper with maybe like a number 2 guard, right? Like a number 2 or number 3 guard, and just you shave the left side of the scalp. Not shave literally. Again, you use a number 2 or number 3 guard so that there's hair, but it's very short hair, very closely cropped, and then you have this fullness. Well, the problem is Rand Van Rompuy, if she's in this in-between state where she's letting her hair grow out, then she should wear extensions to make the hair look balanced, right? Until it does, it'll probably take a couple of years to her to, get this length back. But in the meantime, wear extensions. Or wear it in the spirit that it's supposed to be worn, again with an electric clipper, and keep it closely cropped with a number 2 or 3 guard against the scalp. But she's doing neither, and it looks horrible. This look is horrible. So you have all kinds of stuff going wrong in this image. So Michael Kors is on the skids. They've been on the skids for a while. So, right, Dolce & Gabbana. It was cool about Dolce & Gabbana. Periodically they revive this Roman Catholicism, right? It's what women wear, Italians, deeply conservative Italian women wear into church. It's always this black lace, and they wear the matching mantilla. A mantilla is the black lace hair covering, right? They wear into the church. So this woman, she's not wearing the mantilla, and she's also got, there's a mismatch here with the conservative nature of this dress and these horn rim glasses, right? These are not a true horn rim. They're a modern, right? They're a modern take on the horn rim. So this is way too modern, and this is entirely too old school and too old fashioned. So you have a clash here between the dress and the eyeglasses. I think it would have been better if she just hadn't worn any eyewear at all. So you have this conservative theme throughout, right? This Roman Catholicism, and it would have worked much better. That's just my estimation anyway. The reason I'm including this, Van Cleef & Arpels, I really wanted to pay a tribute to Joel Meyerowitz, because I love Joel Meyerowitz. He's just an incredible human being. I mean, just an incredible man. Have the utmost respect for Joel Meyerowitz. But my point is, his corner, he stood at the same corner for, not literally, but he used that corner extensively for about 50 years, from 1962 until about 2012. He kind of started checking out, started going into a state of semi-retirement somewhere around 2012. But that was Joel's corner. It was the northwest corner of 5th Avenue and 57th Street. And if you look at that building, it's cat-a-corner to, on the southeast corner is Tiffany, where Breakfast at Tiffany was shot, right? Audrey Hepburn was standing in the window. That's the southeast corner. If you go cat-a-corner across the street to the northwest corner, that's Van Cleef & Arpels. And that was the same building for 50 years. It was always Van Cleef. So over Joel Meyerowitz's entire tenure as a photographer, that building was always Van Cleef & Arpels. And it's so cool. Do me a favor. Do this for me, please. If you go there, go to Google Earth and try to look at now you'll see that the main entrance is right on the northwest corner, right? It's on like a diagonal. And if you look to the left, it was like a bus stop or something. There's a bus stop, and people would lean. They would wait for the bus or a taxi. And so many people leaned against the building over the years. It's kind of a soft sandstone. It looks like the skin is a sandstone, which is not a hard stone like a granite. Sandstone is somewhat soft. And from people leaning it, they put, they clasp their hands behind their back and they lean against the wall. And from people doing that it left a divot. You can actually see a little concavity in the wall of Van Cleef & Arpels. That would be on the 57th Street, not on the 5th Avenue side, but on the 57th Street side. To the left of a door, you'll find a little divot in the wall. And I thought that was so cool, from years and years and years of people leaning against the wall. But anyways, that's Joel Meyerowitz's corner. Here, this is cool. We get back to this orchid. If this is a Savage paper, this is orchid, an orchid-like type of paper, right? But it's got this brick. I don't know if that's been photoshopped in the brick or whatever, but it's just working. Have a model here that's kind of channeling America Ferrara, right from her days at Ugly Betty. She kind of has the same look and the same body type as America Ferrera. Anyways, the image is just working. It's very lively. It's just popping, right? The color choice here, very vibrant and lively. Kind of conjuring the 1980s. The 1980s kind of had this feel to it. Beautiful, beautiful portrait. Right, 3/4 length portrait. Well, it's not a full 3/4, but I think you get the point. It's not head and shoulders, and it's not 3/4, but it's a portrait, and it's just beautiful. The lighting is beautiful. The photography is beautiful. It's very unpretentious, and it just works. Okay, Helen Mirren, and I got mixed feelings about this. What do you think about this? I'm soliciting your input in the comment section. The reason I don't like it is the hat. I never really kind of liked that. Now, I like Stevie Ray Vaughan and I like his music, but I never cared for that hat. It reminds me of some of the westerns, right? Different stars would wear that in westerns, and that was Stevie Ray Vaughan's kind of signature look. And I don't think she's pulling that off. But again, I'd like to, if you think she's pulling it off, please, by all means, let me know. This is ridiculous, right? This reminds me of somebody, a young person, 19 years old, first year at university, 18 or 19, right? And this absolutely looks like something an 18 or 19-year-old do in fashion. New, and, it's, full of energy, but it's just wrong. You know what I mean? This is garbage, right? And I understand young people, right? They need direction. They need counseling. They need, I always say teach, coach, mentor. But then, right, you have this, and it's not working. That's why in the counseling process, somebody senior would have to sit this person down and say, look, I get it. You want to set the world on fire, but this is just foolishness, and you know what I mean? But this is what passes for fashion, and it's just garbage. Helen Mirren again, and I think this is a much more conservative look for her, right? It's much more believable, and I think this is a much better suited look for Helen Mirren, other than that, not that Stevie Ray Vaughan look. I included this because of the smile. It's a gorgeous smile, and we talked about this. I'm not going to go on a big tangent, but we talked before about smiles and teeth and veneers. This is a beautiful smile because the teeth are white, but you can detect natural imperfections in the teeth, right? It's a gorgeous, beautiful smile. Okay, Kaya Gerber against the blue, right here, this blue. It's not working. As I've said, blue has never worked. It just doesn't work. Ugbad Abdi again. Look at this. Same deadpan. I mean, it's just, for the life of me, this woman has one look in her toolbox in the world of professional modeling, and I just cannot figure that out. Okay, this is stupid, this red arrow, okay? Just ridiculous nonsense. We see it repeated here. More ridiculous nonsense. Okay, this was big in ASMR for a while. There was a trend called face mapping. It's an old Chinese theory that if you have problems somewhere in your, right, like in your torso or whatever, the problems would manifest themselves somewhere on your face, and it would be tied. So if you had an imperfection here, like for instance, it would be something wrong with your liver, so forth and so on. But this was played out. So this is where Vogue is way behind the times. This on ASMR, this really peaked probably 2 or 3 years ago. Again, it was called, if you look at ASMR face mapping, and at least 2 years ago. So Vogue is just now getting the memo on ASMR face mapping. Okay, way too late to the party. Entirely too late. And we'll close it up here with Daniel Jackson. I actually respect Daniel Jackson as a photographer. I mean, I don't respect Vogue's photographers at all. I think they're terrible photographers. But the one I really do like is Daniel Jackson. But he's missed. He's missed badly in the shoot because the quality of the light is entirely too harsh. He shot this at the wrong time of day. Okay, and the light, the quality of the light is wrong. It's entirely too harsh. Right, look at how harsh that light is. No diffusing panel. No diffusing panel is used to diffuse the light before it hits the model. Just all kinds of stuff went wrong with this shoot. And again, like I say, I have no respect whatsoever for Anna Wintour, who's the editor-in-chief. She checked out a long time ago, and it's more than obvious here, because as the editor-in-chief of this magazine, she should have seen this shoot and said, "Hey, there's no way this is going to print." Look how harsh that light is. That was not ready for prime time. Okay, not ready, but yet it went to print. Same here. Look at that light. Look at how incredibly, my page fell out, or here, okay. But look how incredibly harsh this light is on her face. Okay, no, right, no diffusing panel was used. If I would have seen this, I would have said, look, we're taking this whole thing into shade, and I'm just going to hit you with a strobe, okay? Because either if I didn't have a diffusing panel handy with me, I didn't have the correct number of assistants to hold the diffusing panel, I'm just going to tell the model, look, we're going to take this right into the shade, okay? And I'm just going to hit you with some strobes, right? Because I can't use this. Yeah, Daniel Jackson, he's a good photographer, but I don't know why he continued to shoot in these terrible conditions. It's just, and again, Anna Wintour. Anna Wintour is the final backstop, okay? She is the editor of Last Resort, the backstop of Last Resort. She has the final approval and denial authority, and she approved this. And it's ghastly. It's inexcusable that Anna Wintour approved these images for print, because they were in no way ready to go to print. Okay, Marc Jacobs for Givenchy, and this is not working. This was big. If you remember, maybe you remember or not, this was at Levi's made jeans in this pattern. So say you would be looking at her, say if she's wearing jeans. The left front jean would be this color, and the right front jean would be this color. And if the person turned around, they were kind of inverted, so that it was opposites if you look at the back and the front. And this was, I can remember in 1985, these jeans, and they didn't last because the look was horrible, and Levi's did not sell these. They were a train wreck, and nobody bought into them, and they were just a brief little blip on the fashion radar screen for a very brief moment in roughly 1985. So they've been gone 35 years, and it's making a comeback. And it's horrible. It's not working. And we have Gucci again. It's a train wreck. I just can't figure this out. And worse yet, there's three things I don't understand about fashion. How Cara Delevingne gets work, how Ugbed Abdi gets work, and how this creative director at Gucci keeps his or her job. Those are the three things I will never understand. Okay, if you found this interesting, or you found it helpful in some way, please, if you would be so kind as to give me a thumbs up. And by all means, if you did not enjoy it, feel free to give me a thumbs down. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you.